What's going on, everybody? I need to probably empty this trash real quick, because I just don't know where I'm going to put all the trash if I don't. So I probably better take a second and empty this trash can. Hey Garrett, how's it going? Do that and grab another pack of penny sleeves just in case. Yeah, he really has. I don't think he wanted to say he was relieved, but I bet he was probably feeling relieved. You know, because every week when something goes wrong, then that just, you know, it snowballs on your shoulders, basically, you know? And and they've had really good, like he said, they've had fast race cars all year. So, as a Blaney fan, I was glad to see him get a win, so that's for sure. All right. Here is our owner list for tonight. I've got all spots accounted for, except for I don't have Zach Brewer for Daniel Hemrick, and I don't have James Ward on Alex Bowman yet. Actually, I guess I thought I had him highlighted, and that's why I started to say I had all spots accounted for. So we're missing two people still. So I will have to send those guys messages when we're done. Because I completely overlooked it. All right. Before we get into the duck race, this is the Ross Chastain Custom from the Coke 600 win. And I used an old school Coke 600 logo just because I wanted to change it up a little bit. So through the old Coke 600, that's probably 15 years old, I bet. But I thought it'd be different, especially since he started calling it the World 600. I thought it'd be fun to do something different. So anyway, that's the Ross Custom. That'll go to Garrett for the race win last week. And of course, I'll be making a Blaney this week for Sunday's break. Here is our duck race lineup, 1 through 34. So let's get our duck race going. Oh, all good, Scott. You weren't late, man. We'll shuffle them one time. And good luck. Here we go. Quack, quack, quack. Back. It's fine, Scott. It really is. We got duck 14. 14 and 16 for our top two. 14 is the winner. That's first place. And 16 is second place. So 14 is Billy Joe Garcia. Billy Joe got the duck race win, and Jake is second. So Billy Joe, essentially when I'm looking at my list, Billy Joe gets all of the unclaimed drivers that go all the way down to Josh Williams, and then Jake Levine picks up the unclaimed from Matty D down to the rest of the list, all the way down to Ty Gibbs. So both of them are going to grab some drivers, and both of those guys, I think, have had duck race wins in recent weeks. So they're on a bit of a streak, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the race was good. Let me do this bad monkey box, and then I'll dive into my thoughts on the race once we get into these other boxes and I start talking in circles. But let's get the bad monkey box done and out of the way. Again, if you're not familiar with the bad monkey box, this is just something that I do every once in a while. It's been several weeks since we've used it, actually, because I've just been neglecting. But I try to use this about once a week with a break. And basically, I fill it or put singles in it that have already been pulled. And those cards coincide with whoever drivers you have. They're just extra cards, basically, that are in addition to the boxes. So here is our duck race in all its glory. We got Davey Allison on the Pulsar out of 399. Davey Allison goes to Michael John Pierce. That's it's 78 of 399. Sensational Signatures, Christian Eckes. Christian Eckes goes to J.R. Tipple. I probably ought to get some stands, I suppose. I'll do like that. We got a blue Victory Lane Casey Kane. That's going to be out of 49. 44 of 49. Casey Kane goes to Dale. Then we got Sensational Signatures, Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes went unclaimed and goes to Billy Joe Garcia. And we got Todd Gilliland on the red and blue Hyper going to Johnny Hinton out of 299. Jack Wood, silver rookie autograph. Jack Wood was unlisted and will go to Joey Kroger. Red Prism Pulsar, Daniel Suarez. We'll go to Philip Mancini. 91 of 199. Broadcast helps. Yeah, since you're kind of already there, I will say I was on Twitter, on X, and if you guys follow me over there, you might have seen what I said. I don't understand what it's going to take to make a good race. People are going to complain about everything. I thought the race tonight was good, personally. Like, I don't know what else they need to make it a good race. I guess I'm lost. We got a driver profiles, Brad Keselowski. That's going to go to Billy Joe. Short print insert. Pulsar Connor Mozak out of 399 goes to Daniel Acosta. 37 out of 399. Sensational Signatures Taylor Gray, going to Johnny Hinton. Chandler Smith Blue Prism, 95 of 199. Goes to Johnny. Silver Prism Greg Biffle autograph, going to Billy Joe Garcia. We've had 3 hits go to the Duck Race filler already. Silver Pulsar Daniel Hemrick for Zach Brewer out of 399. Daniel Dye Scripps Red for Daniel Acosta, 15 of 99. Carson Quapple Silver Pulsar, going to Garrett Burkett, numbered 269 of 399. We got a red Sensational Signatures John Hunter Nemechek, going to JR. That is 81 of 99. And then last but not least, Purple Prism Alan Kulwicki, 20 out of 99, going to Michael John Pierce. So that is our Bad Monkey Box stuff. And as you can see, let me show you the boxes real quick. As you can see, I got the boxes staggered. 23, then 24, 23, then 24. I don't know why I did that. That's what I did. I don't have an explanation for the things that I do sometimes. I just do. So, all right. Yeah, like I said, if you follow my X account, Twitter, you'll see there were several people. And so this goes back 50, 100 laps to go in the race. People are already, basically saying it was a bad race, it's boring, this and that. One guy said nobody can pass anybody. He was trying to argue that the leaders couldn't pass lapped cars and that there was no passing. And I said, dude, they were passing and they were 3 wide, at the end of stage 2. I feel like it was a solid race. Sometimes I just wonder what the definition of a good race is, because here's what I'll say. Everybody's looking for something different, right? And no matter how the race plays out, it basically will never, there will always be fans. There'll always be a segment of our race community that will say the race sucked for some reason. Whether that's because they didn't like who won, their driver wrecked out, their guy got the short end of the stick, they didn't like how many passes there were for the lead, there wasn't enough wrecks for them, the race was too long, the race was too short, the tires should be this, or the fuel mileage should be, there's a whole slew of things that people will complain about. And I'm as guilty as anybody about complaining about things with the races. But my goodness, I don't think today's race was great, but it was good. I would say it was above average. I would give it a C+ to a B- if I was going to give it a grade. So anyway, just my little, quick rant as we get going here. Victory Lane bound Kyle Busch. Casey Kane's 75th anniversary personalities. That's going to go to Dale. Silver Jimmy Johnson. And checkered flag Terry Labonte. Going to Billy Joe. Billy Joe's having a whale of a break. and we're only one pack in, basically. 25 of 50. Yeah, the end of state. Yeah, exactly. There were moments where the race was great. There were moments where the race was not great. But I like the fact that, like, I saw one person complaining about the tires, saying there wasn't enough tire fall off. And part of me, what I don't want is I don't want it to become a race where all the guys that are leading the race are running around the racetrack at 60, 70% throttle trying to save fuel for half the race. To me, that's not racing. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that I don't like. But when who cares about the tire fall off? When you have the race play out in a manner where guys can be on different race strategies, and then it comes down to the end, and that last pit stop, you know, it could have gone differently if just one thing went a different way. So, Prismatic Tony Stewart. Jeb Burton, checkered flag autographs. Jeb goes to the unlisted spot, and Joey. Yeah, that's the thing, Corey, and I agree with you 100%. 14 of 50. There's a lot of us. I think a lot of us share similar views, and we all like our different things, right? And that's okay. Like, I like different things in racing than, you know, maybe Scott Dixon likes, or that Corey King likes, or that Will Black likes, or whatever. And that's fine. Like, we all like our different. But I think as a group, we all collectively can recognize, you know, what a good race is versus a not good race and whatever. But there's so many other fans. Like, I consider most of our group and people to be real race fans. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely interested in racing. There's so many people out there that say they're race fans that just want to see wrecks and disaster, and that's not racing. 272 of 499, John Hunter Nemechek. Going to JR. I was taught at a very early age by my dad that wrecks are not a good thing, and it is not something that you want to see in racing, because bad things happen with wrecks. And 115 of 199, Todd Gilliland, going to Johnny Hinton. I've met race car drivers. You know, I've met race car drivers who then lost their life in a racing accident. And I have been at the racetrack where, you know, like I've talked about this before, but I've been at the racetrack where, you know, I was the one that had to call 911 when a sprint car left the racetrack and landed on a fan in the stands, and we had to get life flight in. Like, I've seen what can go disastrously wrong in racing with wrecks, and that's not exciting. So, but you're right. Corey said it, and it's absolutely true. There's a lot of people out there that think if there's not a bunch of wrecks, then it's not exciting, and that's unfortunate for them. Purple Sensational Signatures, Jeremy Clements. Going to Joey, 55 and 99. My dad used to tell people all the time, you want to watch wrecks? Go watch figure eight racing. You'll go see the Demolition Derby, monster trucks. There's all kinds of things in events that are designed for carnage that help keep people safe doing it. Red Tyler Ankrum. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is it's safe until it's not, you know? I've seen people get hit by tires in the stands. I've seen like at a dirt track up at Mansfield when they were running dirt, I saw a rock from the track go up and shatter the glass in the press box. And then one of my friends had glass fall all over her. Like, things just happen that are... So, National Pride, Ryan Blaney. Silver, Harrison Burton. There's just so many things when you start talking about needing wrecks, or that wrecks are... again, it's just, that's not racing. Yes, Scott, I agree 100%. You're right. You can feel a good race. A good race does have a rhythm to it. You're right. Like, it has a pace. It has... yeah. You can tell when things are going, you know. I was tonight when there was about 20 to go, I kept thinking, if this was any other race, I would imagine that there'd be some bogus caution. And I kept thinking, I don't think that's going to happen tonight. Throwback dinger going to Scott Cutler. But 9 times out of 10, when somebody's leading and it's, 20 to go and it looks like the race is over, something happens. NASCAR finds debris somewhere. Somebody backs it into the fence. Something. So I was glad to see it go clean and finish. 144 or 199. Purple Laser, Bobby Allison. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Scott. I've been to races for sure where you're like, come on, like, especially when you're in those lower divisions. When you're watching 4-cylinders or street stocks or some of those other divisions, I mean, it's happened in every level, but it usually happens in the lower divisions. Silver Chandler Smith, but yeah, it happens a lot. You're like, come on, can we just complete a lap? Orange Chris Buescher. I mean, heck, look at Kyle Larson. He came from dead last. Larson was dead last at one point. And finished 8th? And he he had all kinds of issues tonight. And they just kept bouncing back and bouncing back. And, Silver John Hunter going to JR. But then, like I said, there was somebody on X saying, well, they couldn't even pass lap cars. And I'm sitting there watching them as they're slicing through lap traffic there at the end of the race. Thinking, what are they watching? Are they watching the same race? Because Blaney got through a good chunk of lap traffic. And then Hocevar got through a good chunk of lap traffic. Like, I just don't know what they were watching or what they were expecting, I guess. Like I said, some people out there in the universe think they're race fans and hold the phone. There we go. Checkered flag, Richard Petty autograph. That's nice. That's going to go to Troy. Knowing Troy, I'm going to take a quick look at this because Troy likes to grade things. It does have one little imperfection above his hat, but otherwise the front of that looks fantastic. Same with the back. I'm just going to leave this in a penny sleeve until I hear from Troy because, like I said, Troy likes to grade things just like this. So, congrats, Troy. 27 out of 50. That's a beaut. Yeah, I'm going to just leave that alone until I hear from him. It's obviously not going to make this submission. I've already got the submission packed, submitted. It's already been submitted to PSA. Already got the printing label. So, Newman red for Chris Bonnet. So, the May submission goes out tomorrow. But Troy can start the June submission if he would like to. Pot of gold, Kyle Larson. Blue, Jeremy Clements. Between the 2 years, I can't remember which cards are numbered and which aren't, so I keep having to check. 396 of 499 going to Joey. And then we got a Brandon Jones Silver Disco going to Scott. That is 8 out of 75. 8 out of 75 on the Brandon Jones. Close. Some of these, I had forgotten how poorly cut some of these were back in last year's Prism. Widescreen Blaney. Silver Corey Heim. John, am I the only one that is not a fan of NASCAR on Prime? I don't know, John. I have mixed feelings about Prime. I'm not as negative about it as I was, because as Scott and several others had told me previously, the stream was much better than what football had been. Now, there were a couple moments where mine still got fuzzy, and it must be because of my internet speed or my TV. One of the two, or the combination thereof. We got some gold inbound too. But as a whole, I thought the broadcast was done really well. I still don't know how good that is for the sport long term, but I don't know. There we go. Austin Wayne Self. Gold Prism Rookie Auto. That's going to go to Joey Kroger. One of 10. Joey, I'm going to put this in a penny sleeve and top loader, and I'm going to show you why. This gold is cut really long. As you can see, I've got it up against the other two cards. And you can see just how much taller it is. There's no way it's going to fit in a mag and not damage the card. So I'm going to put it in a sleeve and a top loader because I know that's the safest thing to do with it. Normally it would come in a mag. I mean, you can see how much taller it is just by comparison. Look how much yellow is showing, and I'm trying to hold them basically flush. You can see all that yellow above it, so... I'm going to put it in a top load, and we're going to call it good because of that. Move the Josh Berry. And then we got Daniel Dye, Lime Green for Daniel Acosta. Yeah, the NFL was just absolutely unwatchable. I do think that the broadcast itself is really good. I like the booth. You know, I like Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte and those guys. I think, if I'm being honest, I like Steve Letarte 10 times better than I like Larry McReynolds. I'm not a big Larry Mack fan. Biffle out of $2.99 goes to Billy Joe. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I said, it's a holiday weekend. The Coke 600 is its own special event. It had a lot of hype with Indy and Larson. Like, there was just a lot of eyes on it. So I'll be curious to see what the viewership was for tonight's race. I will say, widescreen Bowman. And I put out a post on Twitter about this too. Prismatic Tyler Reddick and an orange Bobby Allison. I think from the Coke 600, I think from the time they run the Coke 600 until the end of August, or whenever college football, and well, college football is not going to hurt until NFL starts. So from the Coke 600 basically till the end of August, I think NASCAR should run Sunday night races every week. All the NASCAR races should be Sunday night. They should start at like they should come on at 7. The broadcast could come on at 6:30, start the race by 7. But I would enjoy that so much more. I like the evening broadcast a lot. I just think about all the things that I like I did a lot of stuff today during the day. We had a really nice day here in Ohio, and I just think about all the things that you can do on a Sunday. And in the summertime, most people aren't going to bed super early because it's hot out and they're, doing stuff. And for TV ratings, you're not competing against the NFL. I really like having the Sunday night thing personally. Yeah, I agree. Exactly, Corey. And it makes it, they got to chase the track a little bit. It's cooler for the fans. Pulsar Alan Kulwicki going to Michael John Pierce. $198 of $399. Sensational Signatures Ryan Blaney. Goes to Robert Rich. Race winner today. We're going to put him on the stand. We'll move the BK off. National Pride, Sammy Smith. And if you run Sunday night, you also don't have any... I mean, I realize there's racetracks, local tracks that are racing on Sundays. You can't avoid everything, but you avoid a mass majority of local tracks by racing Sunday night. Silver Pulsar Tyler Ankrum. 85 of $399. Matt Kenseth Blue. Going to Andy Heisey. 40 of $199. And a pot of gold, William Byron. Well, every track would have to get some lights then. They have ways around the light situation. Or they need to schedule the tracks in the summer that have lights, and then the tracks that don't have lights in the spring and fall. I'm just thinking from it's my marketing brain at work, 134 of $399. Carl Edwards going to Scott Cutler. Silver Jake Garcia. I know people would argue that Sunday night is tougher for people going to the race because then they got to take a day off for work and all, But at the same time, if you're going to a race on a Sunday and you don't have a plan to be off Monday, you probably live really close to the racetrack, or you're taking a huge risk that you may not see the race at all. Because if it gets rained out, then you may just completely miss it, And I think you have to pander to the television crowd more than the in-person crowd. 57 of 299, Josh Berry, red. Going to Dale Cobb Jr. I saw where NASCAR ownership wants their own car. Anyone else see that? I'm not I guess I'm not sure what you're saying, James. Like, you mean they want to have a team, like the NASCAR people? Like the France family or the Marcus Smith family wants to have a team like Roger Penske does? I guess I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like if NASCAR owns a team, then basically all hell's going to break loose. Tyler Reddick goes to Troy Meckus with the silver scripts. Another nice one for Troy. Maybe not quite as good as the Petty, but still nice. In good shape for sure. Noah Gragson, red. Going to Scott Bastian, 27 of 299. Yeah, they should be, because NASCAR can't make the right decisions in the middle of a race as it is, and then when they have a stake in the matter, when they have a vested interest, you can say that they can be unbiased all they want, but there's no way. They're going to see an opportunity somewhere, and that just shouldn't be. Hopefully that gets shot down. Like I said, NASCAR is NASCAR's biggest problem. They are so worried about the money and, getting their piece of every little aspect of the sport they can. They already own the sport, the brand and the series. They also own about, a third of the racetracks now. And so they're controlling that. They control the merchandise. They control the ticket sale. Like, NASCAR controls a lot of the sport. 10 out of 399 for Raja. Going to Billy Joe. Then we got everybody's favorite, Vinnie Miller, showing up. Going to Joey. Yeah, it's definitely weird that Roger owns the series, owns Indy, is the president or whatever of Indy and owns Indy or whatever that situation is. I don't know all the details, but obviously he's in charge at Indy, and then has a race team. Like, I just don't think that's anybody connected to the NASCAR management side should not have a car on the track, in my opinion. 218 of 399, Parker Retzlaff going to Jake. I feel like that's a conflict of interest, in my opinion. But I'm sure everybody will point at Roger Penske and say, but. So it's... I got Scott Cutler trying to video call me on Messenger. What's up with that, Scott? Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Scott Dixon, that and I would agree with you. It hasn't become an issue in IndyCar. And here's what I'll say about it. I think Roger Penske has probably a little bit more integrity than some of the people that we're talking about with NASCAR. And I hate to say that, but I'm just calling a spade, you know what I mean? 42 of 75, Andres Perez going to Jake. Carolina Blue, Lane Riggs going to Scott Dixon. It's a bit of a color match there. $17 out of 45 for Riggs. Victory Lane Reddick. Yeah, it's like it's like Tony Stewart owning Eldora, and I've seen Tony Stewart race at Eldora many times. And I'll tell you what, I'll never forget one night, Tony Stewart kind of got the raw end of a deal at his own track, and he got out and they interviewed him, and he basically said, I got screwed. And I mean, he even called out his own teammate, which was Steve Kinser at the time. 141 out of 299. Jesse Love, red. Going to Billy Joe. So, but again, I think Tony has more integrity than what some of those folks at NASCAR. Yeah, Tony owned the All-Stars, and I've experienced Tony at the track that I worked at, and being in meetings with him and seeing him behind the scenes with some of those things. And I just don't know if I don't know if the NASCAR people, the officials that are involved with NASCAR, are capable of doing the things that folks like Tony Stewart and Roger Penske were capable of. I just don't know that they have it in them. 216 to 299, red Kyle Busch going to Tony Jordan. Bloomer missing weight. Oh, yeah, Scott. And that's not the only time that happened. That's not the only time that happened. Scott, if you never saw it, you need to look up the event at... I don't remember if it was the Dream or the World at Eldora, but Bloomquist showed up and he had a window net in, and dirt late models never use window nets. And so it was... although they passed him through tech and they approved it, then they decided, no, that's not permitted. And so the way they decided to penalize him was they put him to the tail of the feature. And Bloomquist came from the tail and won. And that's when he gave his famous interview and said, well, when they put me to the tail, the race was over. He goes, if they hadn't done that, I would have lapped the whole field. 213 to 399, Matt Mills going to Joey. So there's been a couple of moments and things that you're like, what? But yeah, you'll have to look that up sometime. If you just YouTube Scott Bloomquist to the tail at Eldora or something like that, it'll pop up. You'll see. It's wild. 38 of 199. Alex Bowman goes to James Ward. Then we got a groovy Ty Gibbs. I'm going to try to get this in gear a little bit. I realize I'm talking so much, I'm slowing down. So I'm going to try to pick up the pace here a little bit. Denny Hamlin, red. 242 of 299. I probably failed to mention at the beginning, but Hamlin is a house spot tonight. He was going to be in the filler, and I just opted to keep him as a house spot. Alex Bowman, silver. And we got a Victory Lane gold. Jimmy Johnson in the back. That's going to go to Dale. 1 out of 10. That one I think will fit. Nice hit, Dale. 1 of 10. I'm going to move Austin Wayne for Jimmy, and we're going to keep our race winner up there for a little bit. All right. Second box of 23. Empty. Pot of gold, Denny. And his scripts, Natalie Decker. Silver going to Michael Amundsen. Yeah, I think most of the wing talk has kind of gone. I think most of that's kind of gone silent now. I didn't hear any talk about it at Atomic the other night. Parker Chase, blue. Going to Joey. 294 of 499. Yeah, Scott. So I know you came into dirt late racing kind of late, but if you go back and watch some of the if you watch the evolution of Jonathan Davenport, it's very interesting. Some of the, I guess, just sequences that he went through. 148 of 299, red and blue hyper gray Galding. Going to Joey. Because Davenport originally had his own 49 team that he ran. And then he ran for the Rumley 6. And then they kind of called things off with the Rumley 6. And then he went and ran the, we got a white prism. He ran the, it was for GR Gentry, I think it was, for about a half a year. And then he got hooked back up with the Rumleys a little bit. And then Landers took him in, and then things just exploded. Sensational signatures. White Prism, Myatt Snyder. 2 out of 5. And that will go to Joey Kroger in the unlisted spot. Nice hit, Joey. Joey and Billy Joe are both cleaning house tonight. White Prism. All right, I got to move the Blaney for that. That's too cool not to put on the stand. But yeah, if you go back and watch... Go back and watch the evolution of Davenport, you'd be like, dang. 11 of 249, Larson. Then we got the red and blue Hyper Casey Kane. Larson went to Nate Gogol, by the way. And Kane goes to Dale. 262 to 299. Yeah, I don't know if Bobby Pierce is ever going to do that. He likes running the Hell Tour. And sort of seems to like just doing what he wants to do. Widescreen Truex. Prismatic Allgaier. And Silver Bubba Wallace. The thing is a dirt racer can run sort of an outlaw schedule where they don't run with any series. And if you're good, you know, you got to win some races. If you're good, you don't have to travel half as much as the touring series and probably going to come out just as far ahead or better. Fractal Bubba, Pot of Gold Jeff Gordon, Orange Rusty Wallace. But, you know, the catch-22 is you're getting in front of less eyes. So, you know, depending on where you are in your career and what you're hoping to achieve, it's hard to say. Victory Lane bound Larson. And it also, I think, I could be just making an assumption here, but what series you follow, Silver Denny, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, it probably all boils down to your sponsors and what do they want, you know? Like, you know, do they want you to run a specific series and are they paying you contingent on doing so? Or like for Bobby Pierce, for example, I don't know if he has sponsors that are more regional to, like, you know, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, you know, his region. And so by leaving the region, is that beneficial to the sponsors? I don't know. Silver William Byron. Going to go to Troy Meckus. Troy's having a good break tonight. That's another really clean one. The centering top to bottom is off on this one, but the front is real nice. So, yeah, that's what Larson did correct in 2020. Justin Haley, red. What's the latest on Donruss? July 2nd is the new tentative release date. Widescreen Reddick, July 2nd. 75th anniversary Kurt Busch. Going to Scott Cutler. Oh, you're right, John. I'm sorry. Yeah. John had William Byron. I'm sorry. I was looking at William, and Troy has William Sawalich, which is right below William Byron. So that's how I messed that up. Yes, the William Byron belongs to John. My apologies to both. I apologize to both John and Troy. I'm sorry. Just not looking all the way across the line like I should have. Red and blue Hyper Austin Dillon goes to Michael Clay. 74 of 299. That's why I keep you guys around, John. Keep me in line. Pot of gold, AJ Allmendinger. Hey, we got another profiles, John Hunter Nemechek for JR. Nice one, JR. The blue Joey Logano. Going to the filler. Nobody took Logano either. Going to Billy Joe. 27 of 499. Purple Greg Biffle, who also went unclaimed. Going to Billy Joe. Like I said, he's cleaning up with those spots. 127 of 199. And you saw how many hits we had just in those spots alone. Like, I try to tell everybody all the time, don't sleep on those. When we get down to there's only, 20, 25 drivers left, don't sleep on those spots, because those are the ones that, more often than not, are the ones that end up hitting. For whatever reason. Widescreen Bell. Sheldon Creed Silver. And Prismatic Silver, Ross Chastain. He didn't have the best of days. I think everybody was kind of maybe expecting Ross to come out and run really, really well because of last week, and it just didn't quite go that way for him. Prismatic Harvick. Victory Lane bound Logano. And Scripps Ryan Truex. Also going to go to Joey. $13 out of $50. Nice one there. I love the checkered flag prism. Then we got a red Ty Gibbs. He's also part of that filler. Going to Jake. 2 packs left for 2023. National Pride, Martin Truex. Blue, Cole Custer. Goes to Billy Joe. $446 of $499. That's the other positive that I'll say for when you're comparing 23 Prism to 24. I know it's very easy to just say, well, they took an autograph away, and all those types of arguments. But the one thing I do like is I think the highest serial number we can get now is $3.99 instead of $4.99. So that does, to me, that adds to the product in some ways. Blue Scope Sheldon Creed. $99 and $99. Going to JJ. Little bookend for Sheldon Creed. And our last pack of this one. Fractal Tony Stewart. I got to tell you guys about the card show that I did yesterday too. Silver Eric Jones. Victory Lane Bound Silver Kyle Busch. So I did a show yesterday, the Chillicothe show. It's called the Southern Ohio Sports Card Spectacular. It's a show that I've helped. I had my hand in slightly with getting it organized and assembled in its, before it ever actually happened, stages. Like I said, just had my hand in it. It's not my show or anything. I've just helped. But anyway, really good show. It's become my favorite card show to do because I like the size of the show. It has a really good flow to it. It's about 60 dealer tables. I would estimate probably had about 300 people there yesterday. So a really, really good crowd. And a successful show for sure for me. But what I wanted to touch on or mention to you guys that I thought some people would get a kick out of is, as I've been explaining about card shows, I've been saying that I've been taking more NASCAR with me. And every show, it seems like every show that I do, the more that I take NASCAR with me, the more that I sell NASCAR, basically. And I had one guy come up to me and tell me he's basically just like me. He goes, I like everybody that drives a sprint car. So he was looking for Bell, Larson, Ricky Stenhouse, Alex Bowman, anybody that's been in a sprint car, basically. $290 of $299, red, Josh Berry. Going to Dale Cobb. But what I found really interesting, Red Scripts, Thad Moffitt, and this is a funny little story. Guy came up to me. Thad Moffitt will go to Joey, 84 and 99. He comes up to me, and Scott Dixon will appreciate this. The guy comes up to my table wearing a Devin Moran t-shirt. And so I immediately said, oh, Devin Moran fan. And he goes, oh, yes, sir. You could just tell. He was proud to have his shirt on. And he goes, yes, sir. And so we talked about dirt racing for a couple minutes. And he didn't really, he was kind of digging through one of the boxes. But we were talking more than he was doing anything else, which was fine. But I said, I should show you the dirt custom cards that I have made. I said, you might like them. I said, I've got a couple of, dirt cards made up. So I get in my custom box and pulled out, I had a Davenport, Larson, I forget who all I had, but I don't know. I know there was 5 of them. 386 to 399, Andres Perez goes to Jake. And so anyway, I showed them to him, and he goes, I'm going to end up paying you for these, and then I'm going to owe my wife $50. And I go, okay. I kind of looked confused, and he goes, well, I want all of them, all the customs. He goes, I want them all. And I said, okay. So like I said, there was 5 of them. And at the card shows, I charge $5 a piece for customs, just like I do if anybody buys them from me. If it's something I've already got made up, I charge $5 for them. But anyway, so it was $25, and he wiped me out of dirt customs. And then he goes on to say he told his wife he was going to the card show. He goes, I'm going to go to the card show, but I probably won't buy anything. I probably won't see anything racing related there because there's not usually anything of interest to me, when it comes to racing. And she goes, oh, I bet you $50 you'll spend some money on something. And so that's where he was going to owe his wife $50 came into play. He goes, well, she was right. And he didn't even have cash. He paid me with PayPal. $230 out of $299, Justin Allgaier red for Nate. So it was just funny, that, he was excited. I could tell that, he was glad to get something cool that he definitely didn't expect to find. So Corey LaJoy, blue, 174 of 199, going to Billy Joe. So just fun to see that stuff play out. But yeah, overall the show was a success again. Probably a good time, even though I'm in pretty good shape as far as show inventory. Probably a good time to just casually mention if anybody has non-racing stuff, that you're wanting to sell. Let me know. I can always make an offer, or I can even I've got a lot of NASCAR stuff of my own that I could trade that's non-PC stuff. So 93 of 299 red Josh Berry. We just had the rides version. Going to Dale. But anyway, I got a lot of NASCAR stuff that I could trade for non-NASCAR stuff too. If anybody has any, football, baseball, basketball, wrestling, all that kind of stuff. Ty Gibbs, 131 of 199. Going to Jake. Victory Lane, Carl Edwards. Checkered flag, Jimmy Johnson. Been a good break for the Jimmy spot. Going to Dale. $74 out of $75. Bowman for James Ward. Ends up groovy. Tomorrow night, actually technically tonight, because it's after midnight here. So it is Monday officially. But anyway, Monday night, tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Oh my, hold the phone. Gold, Richard Petty, sensational signatures. Lord have mercy. Now that's going to Troy. And that is Troy's second Petty autograph of the night. 8 out of 10. The centering on the back of that one is not great. But otherwise, again, that is super nice. Again, just like the other one, I'm going to leave this just in the sleeve until I hear from Troy. Just because I'm a stickler for, if I know somebody wants to probably grade something, I'd rather not jam it into a top loader and then have to take it back out of the top loader. It's just one motion that it doesn't need to go through if it's going to get graded. And I know Troy's tendencies enough to know that those are probably two that he will probably at least consider. So if he's not interested in grading them, it's easy to put them in mags and top loads and do it like we normally do. But Ty Gibbs blue. Oh, I had not heard that at all, Scott. That's interesting. 134 or 139 or 134 or 199. It's just their autos though, because their other stuff. Well, I don't know if Deegan had anything besides autos, but I know Larson has cards because we've already seen some. Red Denny Hamlin. It's another house spot. Well, if I guess, you would think that if there, yeah, I guess I don't know if I buy into all that, because if they're saying Larson wanted too much money, by the time they had released the checklist, the cards should have already been sorted and into packs and almost ready for Parkside to distribute. You know what I mean? So at the moment at the moment in time where they released the checklist, they already knew at that time whether they were going to have the autographs in the product or not. You know what I mean? Like they didn't, they weren't waiting on him. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if something there doesn't jive for me timing wise. Something doesn't quite add up. I wonder if eventually you're going to see cards pop up on their page for sale individually, because they know they can sell those for a premium. Just wondering. I don't know. I guess this is the first I've heard this, so I'm just kind of digesting it as I'm thinking about it. Jeb Burton, 17 of 399, going to Joey. Either way, we're going to find out tomorrow night, because we're doing IndyCar tomorrow night. Good segue from Scott. Silver, Chase Elliott. Going to Paul. I will say I'm not particularly thrilled with Parkside this year as a whole. They've, like, I did my pre-order for hobby boxes, and I know there was other breakers that already had their boxes and were posting breaks, and my LCS had boxes in hand that I bought from him. So I had, like, literally over here on my shelf, I have 10 boxes of IndyCar that I bought directly from my LCS, and I still don't have the boxes in hand that I pre-ordered. And that doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not fair. It's not fair that other breakers had their boxes, before the Indy 500, and I did not. But they certainly took my pre-order, and held my money. Like, that's the way I feel about it. 178 of 299. Blaney going to Robert Rich. Sensational Signatures, Mojo, Ryan Preece. That's nice. Nobody claimed Ryan Preece either. That's crazy. 22 of 25, short print. Goes to Jake in the filler. Nice Preece. Yeah, I just yeah, and then I go back to the Pacific deal, where they they released Pacific and sold it out really, really fast. And then it was like, okay, we're sold out. And then, mysteriously one day they send out an email and post on their page that they've got a few more boxes, but literally within, 30 minutes of the email that I received, they were sold out of those. $269 of $399, Mark Martin. Going to Andy. And I realize they're a smaller company and they're trying to do things, and good product. Not trying to poo-poo on them. Not trying to turn it into a bitch fest from me, sorry. But I'm just thinking as a consumer, if you pre-order something, it should ship on release day, or it should ship to you to have for release day. Not 2 weeks after. Mine are supposed to be here Wednesday. But like I said, I got 10 boxes from my LCS. So that's how we're able to do IndyCar tomorrow night. 201 of 299, Ryan Blaney, red. Going to Robert Rich. I saw the question, Scott. Yeah, hobby boxes. Tomorrow will be 4 hobby boxes. That's the way I'm going to do them. I'm going to have, I'm going to have 16 hobby boxes, and I'm going to break those up into 4 breaks, 4x4. 14 out of 49, Matt Mills, Carolina Blue, going to Joey. And Victory Lane, Kyle Larson. We'll probably do 3 of them. Like, we might do 1 a week for the next 3 weeks. And then I might sit on the last 4 and save those for kind of later in the season when we're getting, towards the end of the season, something like that. Silver Pulsar Riley Herbst goes to Jake. 351 of 399. Terry Labonte, silver. It's part of why I have always said don't pre-order anything. And you see why, like with Panini. They pulled the plug on Donruss 3 days before release day. And now we're waiting, it's going to be a month and a half longer than what we originally thought. But once you've pre-ordered, you pre-order. Like, your money's tied up. And that's just not. That's why I always said to people, if you want something, don't pre-order it. Just wait for it to come out on release day and then buy it. So, all right, let's hit a recap real quick, and I will get a schedule posted. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and post the schedule yet tonight. It's going to be late, but I'm going to do it tonight. But we'll do IndyCar on Monday night. On Wednesday night, we're going to do National Treasures, just a 2-boxer on Wednesday. And then Friday night, we've got the mail sale. So those are the next 3 things coming up. So I'm going to make a post for the mail sale and then get our schedule posted so that everybody has that stuff available. But certainly appreciate everybody's support tonight. Hopefully everybody feels like the break went well. I think it was very solid. I know there was about 3 or 4 people that did really, really well. And then everybody else sort of, But sometimes that's just the way the cards go, But overall, I think the quality of the break was really good. So we had profiles of John Hunter and BK as far as short prints. And then let's get into our autos. I had 2 Richard Petties. I'm going to leave them laying right where they're at because I anticipate those may be going to PSA. But we had a gold Petty out of 10 and a checkered flag out of 50. We got the Mojo Ryan Priest to 25. Thad Moffat Scripps red out of 99. Ryan Truex scripts out of 50. Silver William Byron. Silver Ryan Blaney. Silver scripts Natalie Decker. Gold Austin Wayne Self, and that is not in a mag because the card is cut too long, too tall. Vinnie Miller. Tyler Reddick. Josh Berry. Jeremy Clements. Jeb Burton. Thanks, Garrett. You do the same, bud. Red John Hunter. Red scripts Daniel Dye. Silver Greg Biffle. Taylor Gray. Ben Rhodes. Christian Eckes. And Jack Wood. And like I said, I got the petties over there off to the side. And then on top of those, we had these two in mags. Jimmy Johnson gold out of 10. Going to Dale. And the White Prism Sensational Signatures Myatt Snyder going to Joey. So that is, as they say, that. Again, I appreciate everybody's support. Hope I see everybody tomorrow night for IndyCar. I know we were just kind of poo-pooing all over Parkside there a little bit, but I can't take away from the fact that it's still a really good product. And we've got boxes here so that we can break, so we're going to do it. But that'll be a 4-box break. Should be pretty affordable. It'll feel maybe a little bit more expensive because there's a much smaller checklist than what we're used to with Panini and NASCAR. But it should be fairly affordable, I would think. I haven't done the checklist yet, but I think it will be. So, anyways, that's all I got for tonight. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Have a good Monday if you're already into Monday like I am. And we will see you all next time.